Yeah.
I might actually do my bar muscle-ups in here.
All right, while these Masters athlete gorillas who were part of the TTT team warm up, I'm gonna explain the workout.
It's new show, it's new show. Why is it called new show? Nobody knows. It's new show.
This one's a little bit complicated. We have a 5-minute AMRAP into a multi-round for time workout into another 5-minute AMRAP. So let me explain a little bit more in detail. It starts with a 5-minute AMRAP of 5 ring muscle ups and 32-foot farmer's handle walking lunge. Farmer's grip walking lunge. That should say farmer's carry walking lunge, right?
I mean, I've never heard of no farmer's grip.
Yeah, I saw that and got confused.
What a nerd.
Are we just gonna roll through with this?
Roll through.
All right. Farmer's carry, walking lunge. 16 foot down, 16 foot back. As if this wasn't complicated enough, I just confused you more. All right, so you're gonna do the 5 muscle ups, 32 foot, so 16 feet down, 16 foot back, and you're just gonna continue that for 5 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, you're gonna move directly into 3 rounds for time, 21 chest to bar pull-ups, 14 double dumbbell, hang power clean, and jerks. Then that has a 10-minute cap. So if you finish it in 3 minutes, you move directly into another 5-minute AMRAP. If you get capped, you only have 10 minutes to complete that 3 rounds for time. So then you're gonna move into that 5-minute AMRAP whenever you finish or when you get capped at the 10-minute mark, which is the 15-minute mark of the overall workout. Then you finish with a 5-minute AMRAP of 5 bar muscle ups and 10 burpees to a 6-inch target. So I know
whole thing, you have 15 minutes?
You have 20 minutes to complete the whole thing. 5 minutes, this has a 10-minute cap, but most people who are at the elite level, I think these guys will probably finish a little bit less than that 10-minute mark, and then they start an AMRAP directly when they finish. So I know it's kind of complicated. This is not how a qualifier-style workout would go. That's why we didn't put it in the throwdown, for example. This is actually a Monday training session from our online training program from the design. It is purposefully designed to give you a lot of grip stress into something that you have to kind of switch mindsets. You have to go from that AMRAP mindset of trying to pace yourself out relative to a fixed time directly into a task-oriented workout. Then when you finish, you have to go back into kind of reprocessing. Okay, now I have 5 minutes to work. The stress kind of changes. There's still a little bit of grip stress in here, but it's also metabolic for having to do burpees mixed with it. So it should allow you to move a little bit faster if you got bottlenecked from grip here. And you're just gonna have to kind of reprocess and do some clock math and say, okay, I have 5 minutes to do this. How fast can I go in this style of workout? So it's purposefully designed to train your mind and train you to kind of think like an athlete in the moment, under stress, probably having not done anything like this. All right, these gorillas are gonna warm up and then I'll commentate over the workout.
Hit it!
Take number 2, because I forgot to turn on the mic. Kyle, break down your strategy and approach.
All right, so looking at this workout, this is extremely grippy from start to finish. Muscle ups, farmer's carry, walking lunges, chest to bars, dumbbell, hang, clean and jerk. So I think I'm gonna try and conserve the grip a bit up front. Try and do this like on the minute, maybe just over on the minute. So like every minute 10 or something like that. So like 4 to 4.5, maybe 5 rounds if I'm feeling really good in here. Directly into this sucker. So these chest to bars and dumbbell hang, clean and jerks, this is just basically like grip city back and forth. I think I'm gonna try to break it 7-7-7 and then 7-7 here. If I do it like an EMOM where this is on the odd minutes and this is on the even minutes, it'll take me about 6 minutes. I feel like that's a pretty appropriate target. Maybe a little bit faster by pushing the transitions, but just stick with those 7s and 7s here. Then this last bit, you just hang on with whatever you got. My goal is to go unbroken on the bar muscle ups, but given like just the grip density of this, that may not happen. And the burpees, I'm gonna crawl them. Step back, step in, hit the touch.
There you have it. Mike's over here. He's just pushing Kyle today.
I'm just pushing Kyle today.
Thanks, Mike.
Are you a clock man?
I'm the clock man today.
Clock it up.
All right, my friends.
That's a huge
Come
clock.
on, Mike.
That's a huge clock.
Come on, guys. Grow up. Grow up. Is that going to be in your way?
Focus, Jacob, focus.
2, 1, and go. All right. So Kyle Ruth, as you see, is doing the uprise technique. His background in swimming definitely helps with upper body pull stuff. He just naturally, I think, knows how to use his core, use his hips, and just has great upper body pull strength. Mike's training, I know this workout airs on October 4th, which is a Monday, but we're still only in the middle of September, and Mike's training is a little bit less intense, and he's kind of still coming back into games training. So he's more so just here for fun and maintenance of his overall fitness. Kyle Ruth competed at the same time, but I think he just kept his training a little bit more high intense, and this is just a little bit more in his wheelhouse as an athlete, just gymnastics and overall open style stuff. He's just a little bit more accomplished of an athlete in that realm than Mike, I think. All right, we're in round 2. Muscle ups still look really good. Kyle said that he was thinking about a 1-minute pace per round of this. He's at 107 right now, so he's already ahead of that pace. He's also over there. I call that maybe a little bit of a sneak technique there. If you can see, he wraps his grips around his dumbbell heads. I don't know if you can see that there, but that is kind of a little pro tip. If you're allowed to do that at competition, it really saves your grip when you're moving from a gymnastics movement to a grip intensive weight. And it's something that a lot of people do. But as a training context, you might want to make sure that every so often you don't use that technique and you just kind of use your normal grip, because if you ever get to a competition and they call that an uncommon movement clause, then you're screwed because you've been only training one way. So Mike is finishing up his second round of walking lunges. He's closer to that EMOM pace. So we're coming up on 158, 159. We're coming up on 2 minutes. So he's kind of right there. Kyle's already into his muscle ups, finishing his 5th muscle up of round 3, and we're just at 205, 210, 210. So he's ahead of pace. Looks like they're both still pretty good, still under control. Kyle's respiration's pretty under control. Something you got to be aware of in a workout. You're only 2.5 minutes in. I think at the minimum, like based on Kyle's estimates, we're looking at 16 minutes at the minimum for both of them in terms of the 10 minutes of AMRAPs plus the 3 rounds per time. So knowing that, you got to kind of have some sort of pace and understanding of where your breathing is, how you feel, because you're not only just pacing around your grip, you're also pacing around just like your energy systems, your core, your ability to breathe, and all of that stuff. All right, so Mike's jumping up, set of 3 muscle ups, or I think 3rd round here of muscle ups. Kyle Ruth, we're right at the 3-minute mark right now. So I think he slowed his pace there on purpose. I think he probably could have been ahead of pace, but just wanted to use that extra rest break and take into consideration what else he had coming up. And that, gave Mike a little bit of time to kind of close the gap a little bit here. He's still going at a slower cadence, but I think that little rest break just opened up that he's getting a lot closer. Looks like these lunges too are just taking a lot more out of him than, you think it's only 32 feet, but I think 32 feet, especially with the turnaround and hanging on to the grip, hanging on to the external weight, just puts a lot of pressure on the system. All right, Kyle's finishing up, 340, done with his 4th round. So he's still ahead of pace. Now it looks like he's kind of going ahead of pace and then just taking longer rest time. So we finished at like 342, I think, for that set of walking lunges. And he's still resting, still. All right, and he's going up right at the 4-minute mark. So he's stuck to his pace. Oh, look at Brandon over here, watching in judgment, and Mia, and Adam, and Ryan. Hey, guys. I don't know if did you show Perrin? And Perrin, don't leave him out. Bunch of nerds doing computer work.
We got Becky.
Oh yeah, and Becky's training over there with Cena. All right, 30 seconds. Sorry if I just screamed in the mic to you guys. I was trying to project so they knew that their time was coming up. They're gonna be moving right from this into 3 rounds for time of the 21 chest to bars, 14 dumbbell hang clean and jerks. It looks like they're both mindful of the fact that they're not picking it up, and I can hear them both saying nope, because they're they're not trying to be at world-class level at this moment in time, but that would be unacceptable if this was a competition. 2, 1, go. All right, so this will be interesting. Now it's you're going from that kind of AMRAP mentality into a task priority. So you know that when you finish the work, you're done. Whereas if you go really fast in an AMRAP, no matter what, you're working for 5 minutes. This is a little bit of a different structure. You have to finish. So it'll be interesting how they approach this. Kyle there did his chest to bars and then kind of got in a squat. Mike kind of has a rhythm that he came off the chest to bars and walked around. That's a personal preference type thing. You just like how you recover, what position you recover optimally in, what your limiter is at any given moment. So, in a workout like this, if it's grip fatigue, then getting into that position that Kyle's in right there just might alleviate the grip. But if it's something like respiration, like Mike, for example, it might be more of an energy system thing. Walking around and actually being active and moving can kind of pump blood and help recovery. So sometimes, figuring out how to move in your rest periods can actually help you with recovery, which sounds crazy to me because I like to rest standing still. Looks like Kyle's done with his chest to bars, picking up his dumbbell hang clean and jerks. Mike, I think, has another set. This movement is gross in this combo. I know it's only 100 pounds for those gorilla type athletes, but I think the fact that it's unilateral and it's pulling on both sides and both sides have to stabilize overhead and it's paired with chest to bars is pretty nasty. Mike here looks just a little bit more comfortable under load. He's kind of also got an interesting footwork technique there. It seems like only one foot stays planted and the other one kind of moves, and he brings it in on the hinge to allow the dumbbells to go outside of him, and then as he does his power clean, he kind of steps out. So it's almost like doing an actual power clean, but without an aggressive jump and moving of the feet. It's more just of a smooth rhythm. Kyle, conversely, when he picks these back up, if you pay attention, excuse me, you'll see that he keeps his feet a lot closer together and they just stay there. And now, you guys can't hear it, but even from where I'm standing, I'm like 20 feet away from them, and I can hear Kyle's respiration. So he's definitely breathing pretty hard. This movement seems to have really pushed the fatigue up, just respiration, heart rate. You can just tell it got real at this point. Mike's a lot closer now. I think he just finished up the dumbbell hang clean and jerks. As he watches this, I don't know if you guys will have been able to see it. Oh, Mike's still got some clean and jerks left. So he's still a little bit farther behind. When the camera at some point will come back to Mike, little things he could work on here is just the lockout overhead with those dumbbells gets a little soft. Sometimes that can happen with thrusters or even just moving really fast, but something to be mindful of that not training that or getting caught with no reps like that can be super costly. All right. And now, Mr. Ruth, back up on the bar. His rhythm still looks really smooth, this butterfly technique. It's really hard to do. When you watch elite athletes do this, Kyle's been at regionals multiple times as an individual. Even this year at 35 or 36, he was on a CrossFit Games team. So you see him do these kind of rhythmic, smooth chest to bars and, maintain his butterfly technique. And it's almost kind of amazing if you watch me do chest to bars at the end of the workout, trying to keep my body lines tight like that while I'm breathing heavy and my core and gripper failure. It kind of turns into like a quasi-strict gorilla pull thing. I don't even know what I would describe it as, but not as nice. And if you contrast, so Mike in the background right now, just the body lines, like just how close the feet are together, how straight the legs stay. I think maybe Kyle's background in doing, butterfly swim training back in the day might actually have helped with butterfly chest to bar pull-ups and just the butterfly gymnastics rhythm. I find that with a lot of swimmers that they create a lot of the same types of coordination as gymnasts in their ability to control their hips, control their spines, control their arms overhead. So it's kind of a good background transfer for CrossFit. I know there's been some successful CrossFitters like Fikowski and Noah and we have Kyle Habdo entered the building, coming here to watch. All right, back to Kyle. I forgot what I was saying. Swimming, basically swimming is good for CrossFit. Do swimming if you like CrossFit. All right, so Mike's breakdown, so his set sizes are getting smaller, rest breaks are getting a little smaller. He also told me, I don't wanna obviously give people excuses for not training hard because, you know, it is what it is, but he hasn't done chest to bars in training since the CrossFit Games. Hey there. So I think the skill there, he's done some bar muscle ups, but the skill there is just probably not polished. You know, it's hard to keep those skills polished as possible all year round, and I think you see some of the best individual athletes in the world do that, but these guys are also like, they have jobs as coaches, they're masters athletes, so they take time to have off seasons and kind of break down and do, you know, more skill-based workout. Mike seems to just be jumping into these sessions for, you know, fun, community, camaraderie, just to kind of keep some of the skills dialed in, but he's not really in competition mode. All right, so we're at 10:40 on the clock. So that means 5 minutes and 40 seconds has passed on the AMRAP. Kyle's thought of doing this in 6 minutes was definitely off. His reps and stuff all look good. So it's really just rest time, I think, has just extended. But Mike is probably gonna get capped in this. So he has 4 minutes to finish this set and then another set of chest to bars and then another dumbbell hang clean and jerks. I think Kyle will finish. Because he's only got some chest to bars left and then the set of hang clean and jerks, and he has a little under 4 minutes to do that. So I think he'll get that done, but it's still gonna be kind of sucky to move right into the 5-minute AMRAP. For them, I'm gonna help them do the clock math based on wherever they are. I'll tell them 5 minutes to work and tell them when their stop time is. But if you're doing this at home, it's gonna be something that kind of challenges your intellectual process. You could be under all this fatigue and you gotta look at the clock real quick and figure out where your 5-minute AMRAP ends. I think it's a good thing to train yourself to do, is to do mini calculations in this. You know, if you're in a race or you're at an in-person event and you jump onto a rower and you have X number of calories left and you need to kind of approximate how much time you have left to finish so you can pace it out. Being a little bit more analytical can actually be a huge value. And there's, you know, if you think about some of the best people in the sport coming from, you know, Frazier was an engineer, Fikowski's an accountant. I think some of those things actually can help you excel in competition. It kind of follows that corpus animus theme that like the mind and the body are an integrated unit of who you are and how you express yourself in competition. Oh. Pip, just put on the spot to dance. You don't have to dance. Oh, look at that. All right, Kyle's got one set left here, the hang clean and jerks, or one set of 14. I don't know if it's actually one working set. And he's at 12:40. Mike is getting to the chest to bars. He does have time to finish, but it's gonna be kind of tight and it's really gonna depend on how big these sets are. I feel like those dumbbells are being treated quasi-appropriately. Sometimes when people ghost ride them overhead, I go crazy. But I think he's kind of riding them down semi-nicely. It's tough to be in these types of workouts and remember those little details. Feels like extra work. All right, so we're at 13:15 on the clock. I think this is Kyle's last set. We'll see if he finishes them all out. Done? All right, 18:22 is when your AMRAP ends. I'm gonna write on the board when Kyle's stops. 18:22, just so I remember. I also made a comment right there about this part starting with bar muscle ups actually kind of sucks because you go from crushing your grip into doing bar muscle ups. So we were at 13:22 and it is now 14 minutes. So that was a 40-second transition to do muscle ups. It looks like they're okay. It's hard to tell. It's kind of humid right now in Georgia, so his hands are kind of wet. It looks like the overall gymnastics movement's pretty good, but maybe grip is smashed. So, you know, if that were an actual competitive setting or if this was an open workout and we had to, you know, evaluate where he was, I might tell him that he needed to transition to that set of 5 bar muscle ups fast. Mike, I think he still has some dumbbell hang clean and jerks. We're at 14:30, so we're coming up on that 10-minute cap of that 3 rounds for time. Kyle's burpees here are getting kind of slow. He said he was gonna crawl them. He literally is crawling them. So let's count. So he just finished that one at like 50 and he's finishing that at 56. So that means he's doing a rep every 6 seconds, which he means he's doing 10 burpees per minute. Elite athletes in the sport, when they're in a Metcon, are probably holding closer to 20 in a minute on this standard. And maybe even more, depending on how many rounds of this they can do or how messed up their grip is. So it's just something to take into consideration, that the speed of burpees can actually play a big role in a workout. You can save yourself, if Kyle took a minute to do those 10 and somebody holds that same pace, they could be saving 30 seconds per round. Actually, even looking at Mike's burpees here, his pace and cadence is actually much faster than Kyle. He looks like he's gonna almost catch up. Just on this last AMRAP portion, and he started it almost a minute and a half behind. Kyle's only still 1 round in, but this is a tough challenge of a workout. It challenges just like the nasty CrossFit-based stuff, but it also challenges your gymnastics, endurance, your grip. Just everything starts to break down at this level. And they're both also, they're not on the smaller end of human beings. So Mike's 205. I think Kyle probably walks around at 190. So at 16 minutes into the workout, you're also talking about just dealing with heat and just dealing with, all the challenges that your body gets put under when you're working hard for this period of time. We're at 16:22. Kyle's got 2 minutes left to keep working. His burpee pace looked like he picked up a little bit, looks a little bit less fatigued. Mike is in a monkey resting posture. And just when I said that, he stood up and now he approached the bar. You can see he's strong, and his kip and his hips and all of that get him almost to the top of a lockout position. It's just the way that he executed it looks a little bit different than Kyle or potentially a gymnast in the higher levels of the sport. And some of that is just he's super strong, maybe a little bit on the tighter end, grip fatigue. It's not as trained, because when he does these fresh, they'll look a little bit different. But as your body starts to get fatigued, things happen. He also looks like he has a little bit more of a bent knee kip drive there, whereas Kyle seems to stay a little bit more tight through his whole body line. Kyle, you got about a minute left.
Let's go, boys.
So Kyle has about a minute left. They're both doing a 5-minute AMRAP, but Mike actually I think he has to work all the way to the 20-minute mark. I kind of lost track of him right at the end of his last round of dumbbell hang clean and jerks. I don't know if he purposefully stopped and let himself get capped, or if he had finished about 30 seconds before. So his break time is either gonna be like in the mid-19s or a 20-minute mark. So this is basically a 20-minute workout for him. Also, for most of you watching, if this is the upper echelon of the sport, I know you're not looking at Rich Froning or Matt Frazier or Noah or Travis as a male athlete, but you're looking at people that are team games level in the sport, which means they're top 0.1% of even the elite competitors that participate in the sport. So for most of you, if Mike is getting capped on this, you're probably getting capped on it unless you're really good. Kyle's picking up his pace here for a sprint finish. He's got 3, 2, 1, time. I think that's always just a good principle to finish with a strong kick. Laying down at the end of the workouts. We've talked about trying to figure out how long do you give people to go down there? Do we force them to do active recovery? It's hard to get consensus, and sometimes you're just fucked from the intensity of the workout. So it is what it is. He's also right in Mike's vantage point as he's laying there. I wonder what Mike's thinking. I can't wait to do that. Kyle just got up. So Kyle got up within 20 seconds to actually start doing active recovery on the bike. So there you have it, folks. Coach practicing what he preaches. Mike's got 50 seconds left to work. Sets here, the muscle ups are getting a little smaller. He's taking those off, so that means he's done with those and he's not anticipating going back. So he's got about 40 seconds left. He's gonna get through the 10. It'll just be a deciding factor if he wants to do muscle ups. Brandon in the background cheering him on. I sometimes wonder, is it awkward for them to sit here and get criticized in their workout or commentated over their workout and be able to hear me. But these guys are good sports and they just fucking crush it. And look at me as white noise. 20 seconds. So I think he's just planning on stopping here when he's done. Done? I think he's looked at his hands a couple times, so maybe they're kind of beat up. He's got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. He did it and ripped his hand on the last one. Oh, that's a sucky thing to do, is rip your hand. Sometimes that impacts training and makes it harder to get back into training. So hopefully it's not too deep. That's it, my friends. That is New Show.
Year of the octopus.
Yes, Year of the Octopus. Thanks for watching. Guys, thanks for doing that.
That still felt good. Through 3 rounds. And then the final 5. The AMRAP was just awful.
You turn it off?
Not yet. Should I leave it on?
3 even. You got one more than me.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Is it an interview or is it? Do you think Mike made Liam proud?
Yes.
Did Mike make you proud?
Semi. Just kidding.
Would you have beat Mike?
Oh. Yes.
There it is. Competitive athlete. I also coach Brandy and not Mike.
It's New Show, it's New Show. Why is it called New Show? Nobody knows, it's New Show.